A little over a year ago, I reviewed an anime called D.Gray-Man. At the time, the sequel, D.Gray-Man Hallow, was currently airing, and I said that once Hallow finished, I would make a review of that as well. Haha, you thought I meant I'd make a review of it right away. Well, joke's on me, 'cause so did I. But life happens, and here we are. Welcome, welcome one and all, I am Coriander Stone, and today I bring you a review of the 2016 anime, D.Gray-Man Hallow. As I have already alluded to, D.Gray-Man Hallow is a sequel. There are 103 episodes of D.Gray-Man that come before it, and there is absolutely no way in hell I'm going to be able to do this review without spoiling anything from the original series. So if you haven't watched D.Gray-Man already, I suggest you go do that. Go on, shoo, goodbye. Then you can come back and watch this review before or after you watch Hallow. Alternatively, if you just want a quick summary, I'd point you toward my original D.Gray-Man review. But if for some reason you're still here and don't have a clue what D.Gray-Man's about, I'll give you the 2-second rundown. D.Gray-Man is the story of exorcists of the Black Order who are fighting the evil Millennium Earl. He is the leader of what is referred to as the Clan of Noah, descendants of the Noah of Noah's Flood, who are trying to bring around a second Noah's Flood and the end of the world known as the 3 Days of Darkness, and to do so are using monstrous beings called Akuma. If you're interested in any more premise details beyond that, I would suggest going to check out either my original review or, you could just watch the series, cause, yeah, do that. So with all that out of the way, D.Gray-Man Hallow. For the purposes of this review, I'm going to try and limit myself to the content of the anime. That is to say, I'm going to try to talk about the anime without referencing to the manga. I have read the manga. And so if you'll allow me, I'm going to take a few seconds and get my manga-related reactions out of my system. Here's my reaction to D.Gray-Man Hallow as someone who's read the manga. It can be summed up in a few words, and they are Nea, 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 Alma Karma Arc, Nea, Nea, Diapakra Jerk Die, and Nea. Now with that out of the way, I want to start by diving straight into Hallow by tackling first the single biggest problem I had with the Hallow anime. And that is the Phantom Thief G arc, or if you prefer the Timothy arc. It starts with the second episode. I'll get back to the first episode in a minute, but in episode 2, we start off with a nice little arc about the Black Order members going on a mission. It's a pretty typical arc. They go on a mission, there's Akuma, there's innocence, whatever. The premise for this arc is actually incredibly similar to the Akroya episode of the original Fullmetal Alchemist. A phantom thief of some sort is racing around a city. He tells the police where he's going to strike, but they can never stop him no matter how hard they try because of some sort of supernatural quirk. He's gathered a huge fan base, and people keep photographing him and getting super excited about his hauls, and the police are getting frustrated, and eventually the main characters get called in to help stop him. Now, while the Akroya arc had Ednal just sort of invited to join, D.Gray-Man Hallow's version is a little bit different, in that the exorcists don't actually get involved because they care about stopping the Phantom Thief G. Rather, it's because every time Phantom Thief G gets away, some innocent guy in a Phantom Thief G costume gets caught in his place. They all protest their innocence, but the police, furious at the fact that somehow G's managing to get away no matter what they do, locks them up anyway. And this included some members of the Finders Division. They call back to the Black Order for help, and as a result, exorcists are sent to bail them out. A team made up of Konda, Alan, and Mari. Evidently, who the hell thought it was a great idea to put Konda and Alan on the same team? But anyway, a team made up of 3 exorcists is dispatched to catch Phantom Thief G in order to make sure that the Black Order's people are released. Simple enough, straightforward, right? So what's the problem? Well, it's that Hallow doesn't really explain any of this. We're just sort of thrown into the Phantom Thief G arc. It's like, great, they're trying to catch this person, why? We don't know. They give about a 5-second flashback to sort of show it, except they never really explain what's going on. Sure, you can pick some of it up going on, but they just cut so much of the beginning of the Phantom Thief G arc that it's hard to follow, at least the first half. The second half is great, the second half is fine. The second half is, well, Nea, but, well, I'll tell you who Nea is in a minute, but it's just really annoying that you can't really figure this out unless you've read the manga. The pacing of Phantom Thief G was really poorly executed, and after seeing it, I was really worried about the rest of the anime, especially because it's only 13 episodes long. But they actually did a really nice job with the rest of the pacing, so I'm relieved. Other than that, I basically have nothing negative to say about this. Let's start back at the beginning. D.Gray-Man Hallow is 13 episodes following after the initial season, chronicling more of the Black Order's lives as things go downhill into the darkness and twisted psychological stuff that is really at the core of D.Gray-Man. We start learning exactly how dark and evil the Black Order is, as well as of course the Noah, and it follows the stories mainly of Alan and Conda. The story is really made up of two segments, the Alma Karma arc, which is Conda's backstory and development arc, and Alan's development and struggle throughout the entirety of the series. I mean, sure, there's the Timothy arc, but that's never the huge focus for the series. What I really like about Hallow is that rather than throwing in a bunch of new plot points or coming up with a bunch of new stories, Hallow takes things that were already alluded to or set up in the initial series and then builds on and develops them outward, adding depth to the characters and making everything a lot darker and more twisted. Let's start with Alan's portion of the series, because I really can't talk much about Condas without spoilers. At the end of the second season of the original D.Gray-Man series, we learn that Alan actually has some sort of weird connection to the person known variously as the 14th, the musician, or the Noah with the memory of destruction, Nea, who, in case you hadn't figured out, is my favorite character in the D.Gray-Man series. You know, if I hadn't clued you in already with all the Nea I was doing earlier. But yeah, he's amazing, and I'm barely going to talk about him in this review because he's barely in the anime, which is sad, but anyway, Alan. At the end of the last series, it became clear that some part of Nea or Nea's memory or some sort of connection to Nea had become implanted somehow in Alan's body without him knowing it, so that he shares certain of Nea's memories. After becoming aware of his connection to Nea, who is after all one of the Noah, the Black Order kind of freaks out and decides that Alan can no longer be trusted. They even go as far as to appoint Inspector Howard Link to keep an eye on Alan. Now this is a plot point that I really freaking hate. I hate this sort of story, honestly. I've hated it in just about every version of this story I've seen, and there have been several in anime, just that I can name off the top of my head. It's the idea that, oh well, the main character is somehow connected to the enemies, and so, yeah, I guess I get it. It's understandable that the main group would be afraid and whatever, but it's still this idea that, oh wow, he's connected to the enemy and can somehow use their powers. Now, it never occurs to them that having someone with the enemy's powers on their side is a huge tactical advantage. Oh no, they instantly decide to mistrust him, they hurt him, they watch him, they imprison him, whatever, and all in all, impede his ability to help them despite the fact that we, the audience, know that he is never going to betray them because his friends are on the good guy's side, quote-unquote good guys since they're doing all of this to him, and so all he wants to do is protect his friends and fight the enemy who he hates with a burning passion and would never side with anyway. Now sure, this plotline could be very interesting if there was a little bit more moral ambiguity, if perhaps you weren't sure if the main character was going to side with the good guys after this or not, if factions started to form on the good guys' side, quote-unquote good guys, and things divided up more and more, but it never goes that route. You know the main character is going to continue to side with them no matter what, and so in the meantime you just have to watch a whole lot of people be nasty to that main character who you're supposed to like for literally no good reason. We've seen this plot over and over again in Attack on Titan, Blue Exorcist, Kabanari with the Iron Fortress, and Seraph with the End. Those are just the stories I can name with this plot point off the top of my head. I'm sure there are a hell of a lot more out there. And honestly, yeah, I get it, technically, it makes sense because mistrust and all that, but it's just not enjoyable to watch, and I really wish stories could find something else to do with their time. So I was really annoyed when I saw D.Gray-Man taking this route at the end of the last season. But D.Gray-Man did it right. I didn't think it was possible to do this plot point right, but D.Gray-Man does. It really does. It explores what this plot point really means. First with the Level 4 Akuma and the Lab 5 arc at the end of the original series, and now in D.Gray-Man Hallow by testing the way it affects Alan's ability to function. And moreover, by forcing Alan into a position where he really does have to choose between the Black Order and protecting his friends because of all of this. Rather than simply putting his friends on the Black Order's side and that's it, we get a lot more moral ambiguity, we get a lot more questions, and ultimately the decision Alan comes to at the end of the series is not at all what I was expecting from this type of plot arc. And it's freaking awesome! This plot arc isn't just there to buy time or whatever, it really means something huge for the story and takes it off in a completely different direction. I can't spoil what that direction is, but let's just say that there is no longer anything that even resembles the status quo by the end of Hallow, and it's all because of the way this plot point goes. So I was incredibly impressed by the way that Hallow takes this generic plot point and turns it to its advantage. Other than that, there's the Alma Karma arc, and I can't really elaborate on anything much about it because again, spoilers, but basically it's Konda's backstory and development arc. And it also answers a lot of the questions that have been building about Konda from the beginning of the series onward. Remember that hourglass with the lotuses in it in the second opening? Remember the lotus flowers from an arc in the first season? And remember the way that he wouldn't die no matter how many times Skin seemed to kill him during the Noah's Ark arc in Season 2? All of the questions that have been raised about those are answered in full throughout the course of the series, and the answers are incredibly dark and heartbreaking, and also so worth the wait. Character-wise, I want to just take a minute to appreciate how nice it is to see these characters again. They're all back, and they're all just as good as they were in the original series, despite how many years it's been since anyone bothered to animate this series. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge the evolution of Howard Link, who started out as just this sort of inspector who had to follow Alan around and who was kind of annoying, but over the course of Hallow he really evolves into his own character, with a lot of moral dilemmas in front of him, and he's really enjoyable to watch. Hallow really is true to the D.Gray-Man series, both in terms of the characters and characterizations, and also everything that always made D.Gray-Man good, both its comedy and its darkness, and of course, the sad and tragic character deaths that marked this series from the first as something more than just another long-running shonen. Animation and music-wise, the animation was fun. It was a lot like the original ones with some new coloring, and literally the only problem I had with it was the way Crory's hair was animated. The background music was great. I especially loved the remix of the musician's theme, which is not in the official soundtrack, and I'm incredibly bitter. Opening-wise, damn that opening was strong, like damn. But I'm not going to talk about that here because I already made an entire video about D.Gray-Man Hallow's opening and the meanings behind it. Check it out down in the link below. As for the ending, well, I actually want to take a second to talk about Lotus Pain. It's mostly just stills, but it also taught me that a still ending can be gorgeous. It really is. But what I actually wanted to talk about was the music rather than the animation, which is strange because I don't usually touch on the music since I don't speak Japanese. But right now I wanted to talk about how perfectly Lotus Pain fits the series, and the reasons behind that. That is to say that it's not just made by some band who knew a little bit about the series. Rather, the singer, Mashiro Ayano, has been a D.Gray-Man fan since her own middle school days, and so she was really able to come up with a song that fit the series perfectly through a long and intimate knowledge of the work. It's touches like that that really showed the care they put into this adaptation and make it just go above and beyond. Another one of these touches is the way in which the voice cast really researched their roles. That is, that the entirety of the new Japanese voice cast, or at least all of the main characters, met with the series' original creator, Katsura Hoshino, to discuss the portrayal of her characters. Again, I just love the amount of care they put into this. And that, combined with the amazing storytelling, is why I'm going to give D.Gray-Man Hallow a 6 out of a possible 5 stars, because damn, this is a perfect show. Now I know I complained at the beginning about the pacing of the Timothy arc, and yes, that's a problem, but after watching the entire rest of the series, I've got to say the rest of it is paced out so perfectly that they had to speed that up in order to fit everything else in just right in the 13 episodes, and if they were going to speed through anything, the beginning of the Timothy arc is the thing that mattered least in the entire season, so I guess that was good choices all around. Alternate anime recommendations for this one is kind of hard, but I'm gonna go with Inuyasha the Final Act because it did some of the same things with the Inuyasha series that Hallow did with the D.Gray-Man series, but of course you've got to watch all of the rest of Inuyasha to get there. And Bungo Stray Dogs for its similar mixture of light and dark, and because Dazai is literally Nea. If you're looking for more recommendations, I point you back toward my original D.Gray-Man review. Incidentally, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and let me know down in the comments. This is Coriander Stone, and I thank you for watching.